Welcome back to the Inspired Lady podcast, everyone. It's Belle here, and I am stoked about this episode, okay? So last week, we did not have a new episode because I was actually in Israel. It was so insane. This has been a bucket list trip of mine ever since I was really young, but really intensely when I was in college getting my biblical studies degree. And I just knew I always wanted to go to Israel. I was actually set to go to Israel one summer in 2020 and it got canceled due to COVID. So this was just a full circle moment for me. And it was wild. It was truly, this is such a cliche to say, it was truly life-changing though, in the way that I will never read the Bible in the same way. The tour group that we went on was called The Bible Comes to Life, and it just was so perfectly named because all the places we went were true archaeological sites, except for like 3 of them where they're more traditional sites. And it was so wild. We actually got to be at an archaeological dig and take part in the sifting project. It was, I'm like speechless. I feel like I'm still processing a lot of it. We got back a few days ago and I'm still trying to really wrap my mind around everything that I saw, because you read about these stories and you create this image in your head of what you think it will look like, and it's just totally different. So I was inspired by this amazing trip to actually create this episode all about the Sabbath. And when I say that, the Sabbath, it sounds like such a Christianese word. And that's because it is, but really it's this day of rest. And I think it's really important to implement a day of rest into all of our lives. And we'll get into all of those things in this episode. So I hope you enjoy this. It's very practical. All the things that I do on my Sabbath days, on my rest days, and you're going to love it. So let's jump into this episode. So today I'm drinking water, ice water out of my Stanley because I'm trying to rehydrate. I feel like whenever I travel internationally, I become so dehydrated no matter how much water I drink. I bring electrolyte packets with me, my liquid IV, and no matter how much I try to stay hydrated, I just feel like I always end up so exhausted and so just like my lips are cracked, and it's just a whole thing. So a couple of days after I get back from international trips, I drink a ton of water. Also, I always catch back up on my greens and make sure that I'm all caught up on my vitamins because I'm very bad at taking vitamins whenever I travel too. So yeah, that's a little update on what I'm drinking. A long story just to say water. And then also I did want to let you guys know the house is moving forward. We went to go visit it the other day, the site, and the dirt was moved. And I have never been so freaking excited to see dirt moved around. I literally like was taking pictures and videos. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. So probably somewhere around April 5th, we're gonna start laying the foundation and meeting with our contractor, going over blueprints, all the things. And it still doesn't feel real. Like, I can't even describe to you how excited I am about this process, and it's something that we've always wanted to do. Matt was a little hesitant to build a house, but now that we're doing it, it's just so fun. We love it. So that's a little update on the house. Okay, so moving into this episode, it is called creating a restful Sabbath. And when I use the word Sabbath, I really don't want that to scare people off because really it is a rest day. And in Israel, people take the Sabbath very seriously, especially when you're talking about Orthodox Jews, okay? So let me give you a little lesson here. There are a ton of denominations in the Jewish religion, like so many. And they all have different rules and, regulations for what they do. And there are a certain sect of them that is very careful around the Sabbath, and they don't want to break the Sabbath. They want to do everything they can to protect it. So I want you to picture there's like this circle, okay? And inside the circle is the word Sabbath, okay? And, God says to keep the Sabbath. And they read that and they go, okay, so how can we ensure that we keep the Sabbath? We're going to build hedges. So multiple, like a bullseye, multiple circles around the middle. So that way, here's the law that you can't break the Sabbath, but here are a bunch of other laws that we're going to build around it. So that way we never touch the middle. Okay. And it's a really interesting idea. And Christians don't usually follow that tradition. So to give you some examples, we were there over Sabbath and it was wild. There's no traffic because driving is considered work. So they don't drive. Riding in the elevator is considered work because you have to press the buttons. So they have special Sabbath elevators, okay, that literally just go up and down to each floor, and the doors just automatically open and just goes to the next floor. So if you're on level 1 and you need to get to level 24, you have to wait for the elevator to stop at every floor to get to you, and then it stops at every single floor going up before you're at the top. So it's very interesting. Like making coffee is work. So they don't have coffee. Making eggs, no fresh eggs. So it's so interesting because it's very far from what we experience in American culture. And so being there on the Sabbath, it was like the whole country outside. And again, there's other denominations and there's lots of other religions there. But anytime we were in the Jewish areas, it was really surreal to me. But then we were talking to a different denomination of Jew, and he was explaining how for him, Sabbath simply means rest and family. So they do a big meal, they sleep in, they like really try to restore their soul and their spirit and their body and just rest up. And then they spend as much time as they can with their family. And that can include like going on hikes or doing board games or movies. And it was just so interesting to talk to him and hear this very different take on Sabbath, but something so much more similar to what I do. So Matt and I, when we got married, we agreed that this was something that we did not want to ever shy away from, is really enjoying a Sunday Sabbath. But also it doesn't always fall on Sundays for us. And there's a fluidity to that. So let's just jump into some of the practical tips now that you have a little bit more of the background. And really the history of the Sabbath is because in the Bible, it says that God created everything we see, everything we can touch, all of the things in 6 days. And on that seventh day, he chose to rest. And that is where the idea of a Sabbath comes in, because we want to emulate ourselves after that. And God says that we should also rest. So having 1 day a week dedicated to just taking some time to relax and not necessarily keep grinding is really beneficial. And that's not even just like a biblical thing. This is like scientific. Everyone knows that you have to rest in order to continue going, because if you're at 1%, you're not going to be able to continue to show up as your best self. So you've got to recharge. Okay. So now we're going to dive into all the practical things. I'm so excited about this episode because I have so many fun ideas for the Sabbath. And I do also want to say this is different for me. So I take the weekend and I split it up. Half of it is my rest, but half of it is like a reset. And it's a little different, okay? So you have your reset, but then you also have your rest. And I think that they do have to be separate, even though sometimes cleaning and grocery shopping and all of that can be really restoring. It's different for me. And and maybe it's part of your Sabbath for you. And as long as you feel restored by it, that's great. But on Saturday mornings, that's usually when I try to get errands done. That's when I try to do like a big deep clean of the house, finish any outstanding like school projects I have for my master's, and make sure that all emails are answered to the best of my ability, social media is caught up for the week, all the things. And that is my Saturday morning. But then what Matt and I practice is what we try to stick to really well is the 24-hour Sabbath. So instead of having one full day of like start to finish, that's really hard for us because we have very dynamic schedules, and we have things that we have to do for the next day and we have to prepare for. And Matt, the way his job works is he gets Wednesdays off and Sundays off, so we have to be creative. It's not like we get a full weekend together. So we start our rest day Saturday night at dinner. And it's really fun because we usually pick up a fun meal, or we'll make take and bake pizzas from Aldi. That's like one of our favorites. They're $5. They fill us up so well and they taste so good. It's like honestly my favorite pizza. It's really good. So we will pick up a take and bake. If I can convince Matt to watch a movie, I'm going to convince him to watch a movie. But he's not a big movie guy. He likes TV shows more. So usually he'll get home from work, he'll shower, I will cook the pizza, and then we just kind of hang out for the evening and have a lot of fun. We'll watch a movie. I'll make some hot tea. We both get into some cozy clothes, and we just hang out and get to enjoy each other's company after a super long week. And it's just really a sweet time. And then I also will usually do some self-care that night. I'm in the middle of doing a laser hair removal, and it's so amazing. I'm actually noticing a difference, okay? So I'm on week 6, and I'm actually noticing a difference. Like, the hair is disappearing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. By the time the house is done, I'm going to be completely smooth. Oh my goodness, I'm so ready. Anyways, that was a side note. So I will do like my laser hair treatment, and I will, do a face mask, and it's just a time to kind of feel like I'm pampering myself. Matt will usually play some video games because he doesn't get to do any of that all week, and he'll usually play with some friends. And it's just a really calm evening. I read my book, and then we go to bed at like probably around 10, okay? So the next morning, now we're on Sunday morning, okay? So 24 hours goes from 6 p.m. Saturday to 6 p.m. Sunday, or somewhere around there, okay? It's not like a total science, and there are some times where Fridays end up being more of a Sabbath because he has it off work and we have a busy weekend coming up or something like that. And that's why I like the 24-hour Sabbath so much, because it's adjustable. And if you work in ministry, you probably can't take Sundays off, so you have to adjust. So anyways, Sunday morning, we will wake up, and it is so fun because it is usually the latest we'll sleep in. We sleep in until like 7:30-ish, and then we just get our coffee. I try to stay off of social media the entire 24 hours as much as I can. However, some of my best performing videos are my Sunday morning church get ready with me videos, and I love them because I always have a call to action and invite people to go watch church with me at my church because they have an online service. And I think that is just a really cool way to, I don't know, maybe intrigue someone to seek Jesus that morning. So I like to post these little get ready with me for church videos, and then in the caption I'll say, if you aren't able to go to church today, feel free to watch with me online at my church. And my church is High Ridge, Fort Worth. Okay. And so I always try to post that up, but then I like stay off social media as much as I can the rest of the time. Just because it is more of a job for me than it is a release of like mental issues or anything like that. Like sometimes I get so stressed out, like I just need to like sit for a minute and be outside of the situation. So I will scroll on social media, but usually it doesn't work that well because I end up spending the whole time going, oh, I should make a video like that, or oh, that audio is really good, I need to save that. And it turns into more work. So to avoid that, I try to just get off of it after my Get Ready With Me videos posted. And then Matt and I go to church together. It's really sweet. I love going to church with him, and we get to see all of our friends, and it's really fun. I love our church so much. It's definitely the first church. Well, I wouldn't say maybe the first one. The first one in this season of life where I feel like we have just like found a community that is so sincere with us and so sweet, and we can just relate to on a totally different level. And I love our church so much, and highly suggest that if going to church physically is not a part of your Sunday service or Sunday routine, it's really beneficial, and you get to see people and hang out and drink your coffee and worship Jesus and learn something new. It's just really good. It's a good time, and I highly, highly, highly suggest that you look into some churches nearby. But if you're unable to, again, you can watch online with me. So after church, we will go and do some sort of breakfast, okay? And this varies. Sometimes we will go with friends, and we'll go to a brunch and or like a late lunch or something, and we'll hang out with our friends and kind of spend a longer time with them, and those are always really sweet times. Then there's other times where Matt and I, oh my gosh, we have this donut shop. It's so fun because we actually know, so the owner, she's there every Sunday, and she's the cutest lady ever. She's so sweet. She's like an older lady. Whenever we come in, she's like, oh, hi guys. And we're like, oh, we missed you. And she always gives us a bunch of free donuts on top of the ones we order. Oh, she is so sweet, and the donuts are so good. So good. So anyways, or we'll go there, or sometimes we will come home and make like pancakes or waffles or something. So we always have a fun breakfast. And I think that breakfast food is just meant to calm the soul a little. It's meant to restore the soul. So I love a good breakfast after church. I think that if you intentionally set aside some money and some time for a weekend brunch, it's just life-changing. It really is. So we love that so much. And then at this time, I should probably be giving a little more time. So we go to the 9 o'clock service. And then by the time we get our brunch breakfast thing done, it's usually around like 11:30, 12. So at this time we change into different outfits. And I will usually put on a workout outfit, same with Matt, and then we take our dog on a couple miles of a walk. So we make coffee at home, or if we have a gift card, sometimes we'll go to Starbucks and we go on a super long walk, the two of us. And I love these walks because I like to call them our dream walks, which is so, I don't know, cringy, I guess, but I really do like it because we just walk for miles, phones on do not disturb, and we just walk and walk and walk, and our dog is living his best life, and we drink our coffee and we talk about everything that's on our hearts. And this is the time that I feel closest to my husband. And like, I do this with my friends too. Like, if they're like, hey, let's get coffee, like, I'll be like, oh, do you want to go on a walk with me? So I think that walking is so much fun because it's just, I don't know, I love going on walks with people. So we just talk about this, like, our dreams or something that's maybe weighing us down, something that we need prayer for. But usually what we're talking about is what we're most excited for, something that we're going to work towards either that week or that month, or something that we want to get better at. It's just a really good time for the two of us to connect and embrace where we are in life, but also look forward to the future. I mean, these are the walks that, you know, Matt decided to accept the job he's at, and I decided to start the podcast, and we decided to buy a house. Like, it was on these walks that we were able to just discuss these things and make decisions. And it's just so restoring to me to be able to feel like we're on the same page, or if we're not on the same page, get on the same page. So after our fun little walk, we come back home, and oh, let me say this too, we go when it's cold. It will be like 25 degrees and we've gone on these walks. And sometimes we drive and go like actually hiking almost, in like more like around lakes and rivers and stuff. And then sometimes we'll just walk the neighborhoods around our house or around our apartment right now. And either way, it's really good. And we will go when it's freezing, and we go when it's really hot too. So right now during the springtime here in Texas, it is perfect because it'll be like 70 degrees and it's amazing. But we bundle up for our walks in the winter, and we definitely are like in tank tops and shorts in the summer. Okay, gotta catch my breath. Geez, I walked so much in Israel and I feel like I came back and now my body's like, we're tired. Anyways, after we do our little outdoor adventure, we come home and we make sandwiches. We love getting sourdough bread from Trader Joe's, and we make these really delicious sandwiches. This was Matt's idea to start implementing this. So it's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Breakfast probably didn't hold us over all the way. So we make these really yum sandwiches, and it's just so fun to be in the kitchen together and do that. And sometimes we'll make a little dessert, and I don't know, it's just a sweet time. I really love it. And we eat our sandwiches, and then we kind of will do our own thing maybe for a little bit. Matt might work a little bit on writing his book. For those of you who don't know, Matt is an author. He is the coolest guy ever. He has so many like dimensions to him. Like, there's layers to this guy, okay? You know, when Shrek is like onion layers, all the things, like Matt is the onion with layers, okay? Everyone looks at him and sees this like army guy covered in tattoos, but there's like so many different layers. And one of his layers, that he's an author, and actually an award-winning author. He's super cool. So anyways, sometimes he'll work on his book, but if it's feeling like work, he won't. And so sometimes he'll go and play blitzball. Sometimes we go play tennis after this. Sometimes I just read. Like, it's just kind of an afternoon of whatever we need in that moment to feel rested and restored. It's sweet. So it's nice. And then that carries us to dinner, and dinner is our reset. So now we are no longer doing Sabbath, and we start planning our week. So this is when planners come out. We start prepping for the week. I'll check my emails to make sure that Monday morning I'm not feeling super overwhelmed. I'll go on social media, make sure that everything's good. I'm not getting a bunch of hate comments on anything. Because if I am, then I just go through and block everybody real fast. And yeah, so it's just that evening then is spent preparing for the new week. We set our goals for the week. We make sure we're all good. Sometimes we'll have our budget meeting at that point. Honestly, we need to be better at scheduled budget meetings, but sometimes I'll just look at him and be like, there was one time we woke up, we were up at like 5 a.m. and I was like, Matt, we need to have a budget meeting right now. And he's like, okay, sounds good. So we just like pulled out our binders and did that. So we have a budget meeting once a month, the two of us, and then I do like little budgeting all week long. So anyways, sometimes we'll do that on our Sunday. It's just really, really sweet. It's just a good time. And that's truly what the rest day is. The Sabbath is it's just a time of relaxation and restoration, for body, mind, and soul, or spirit. Body, mind, and spirit. There we go. Anyways, I do look forward to the future where Matt and I have a family and it's able to be bigger than the two of us, where we have like kids and everything, because I've always loved the idea of doing like a big Sabbath dinner with the family and just being able to sit around and connect and talk about the week and everything that's happened. And I love it so much. And I really do think staying off of social media to the best of your ability over that time is really helpful. And if you don't work on social media, like if you don't have posting schedules that you have to stick to, I highly suggest just muting all of them. I keep mine muted all week. I have notifications on. If you DM me, I don't get notified about it. I have no clue that anyone's talking to me. But I think that if you can do that over the Sabbath, that's a really good thing to do. Same with emails. I am one of those like chronic email checkers where like I'll check my Instagram, TikTok, and email like maybe like once an hour during the work week, just to make sure I'm staying on top of everything. And I wish I wasn't that way. So being able to take that break during the Sabbath, I always find on Mondays I'm slower to getting into that habit. And then putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. Y'all, I have a special like Do Not Disturb for the Sabbath, and it is so amazing. So no apps notifications can come through at all. I do have it set so like certain family members, they break the Do Not Disturb, simply because like if there is something happening or going on, I probably need to be able to get a hold of. Someone needs to be able to get a hold of me. We'll go with that direction. Anyways, I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm feeling the hunger pains, and apparently my brain is stopping working. What is wrong with me? Oh my gosh. Okay, we're just going to keep moving on. I don't edit any of this stuff out. This is all candid, guys. You get every drop of my mistake. Okay, moving on. I think that if you're able to clean really well and get your errands done on Saturday, if you have that capacity, I think it makes your Sabbath a lot easier to enjoy because you're just getting to have a clean space. You don't necessarily feel like you have a lot going on. And I have the absolute privilege of working a 4-day week. So my 9 to 5 Project Rescue, we only work Monday through Thursday. So Fridays are my days where I create content. I usually record podcasts, not this week. And I take time to just get all the little things done. I usually try to schedule all my coffee dates on those days, on Fridays. And I get that not everyone has this capacity. And then on Saturday, that's when I finish all my errands and get like all the things, like the tangible things I have to do, like grocery shopping and cleaning and all of that. And then I'm ready for a day of rest. And that works really well for me personally. I love it so much. Matt works pretty much every day of the week. And as much as he's off Wednesday, because it's Wednesday, he has meetings all morning for church things that he's involved in. And then he also goes to army stuff in the afternoon. And then he volunteers at youth in the evening. So his Wednesdays are gone. So he has only this one day to kind of have this restoration. And if that's where you're at, that's okay too, because if you can take 2 hours out of the 24-hour Sabbath and get those errands done, clean, reset, and then enjoy the rest of the Sabbath, I think that's just as powerful. I think that's just as good. And yeah, you just have to make it work for you. And for Matt and I, where we're at right now, we're focused on bettering our relationship and resting up because both of our schedules are so chaotic during the week that we just need to unplug from everything. And it's so fun and it's so good. And I think that it gives us the rest that we need. Yeah. And that's what a Sabbath is all about, guys. Like it's what works for you and whoever you're with. If you have roommates or if you're living at home with your parents, or maybe you are married, you just find what works for you. And I think a little bit of community, a little bit of solitude, and a whole lot of Jesus is what you need for the Sabbath. That's how it works. At least in my head, that's how it works. So I hope that this has given you some inspiration. I highly suggest plan your Sabbath for this Sunday, Saturday, or Friday, whatever works for you. Monday, I don't even care what day of the week it is. Pick 24 hours to find a day that just you're going to intentionally take to rest. You're not going to be chasing your God-sized dreams, okay? I did not have a Sabbath for the longest time because I spent every single day doing things to try to move forward. And what ended up happening is I hit burnout so hard that I wasn't able to keep moving forward. I stopped. And so sometimes you have to pause yourself in order to regain strength to keep going. And you can do that. I believe in you. I know you can do this. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go plan your Sabbath out for one of these 24-hour days coming up. And you're just going to find some things that feel relaxing. A nap. Maybe you want to bake something. Maybe that sounds fun. Like one of those easy recipes though, because we're not stressed. We're not stressing on the Sabbath. No. You're just going to go get one of those boxes of brownies or something and make it real easy. You're going to find a new TV show to watch maybe. You're going to make your favorite drink. Maybe you're going to go pick up your favorite drink. Maybe go grab a new meal, try a new restaurant. Or if that's a lot for you, go to your favorite restaurant. Get out in nature, go on a walk, go on a hike, find somewhere new, go play tennis, listen to a new podcast, whatever that looks like. Like there's so many ideas and it's so adjustable to you. And that's what's so fun about it. So I challenge you, find some rest this week. Find 24 hours to intentionally rest. And it will literally be life-changing for you. I promise. It's one of my favorite tips in all of life is to intentionally rest. And this is how you do it.